Hello, this is Meme Analysis, and today we're going to be looking at Garfield, and the scary Garfield that is becoming popular in memes. We're going to take a look at his origins, some of the traits of the meme and what they mean, and ultimately the implications for the world. So, if you'll stick with us, let's have a look. In the beginning, we start out with Garfield as merely his incarnation from The Funnies by Jim Davis. They are very dry and bland and boring, very unfunny. And as with a lot of the funny paper characters, they are very slow comics with kind of very weak punchlines. They have to be very boring and vague because, they're meant for the papers. They're meant for everybody. So, of course, this led to parodies. Some of the important early ones are Dilbert 3 by C. Boyer D. One of the great pieces that transgresses the meaning of the comic itself. It takes it to an extreme. And of course we get the same with Garfield, with Garfield by Pilot Red Sun, which kind of just parodies the usual dialogue in a Garfield comic. And then we have one that I think is particularly important and led directly to this meme, which is Lasagna Cat, which has been going on for like 11 years, and they would just take a panel, or take a strip and recreate it, and laugh at it, reenact it, make it very funny, add music, all kinds of stuff. But they had a hiatus for a long time, and upon returning, they had this fantastic, strange, almost like 2-hour-long episode where they had asked the audience about their number of sex partners, but ultimately it ends with kind of a revelation about who Garfield is, who John Arbuckle is, what is their relationship, and it's one that's extremely frightening, extremely dark. I won't spoil it any further. You should go watch it. It's the last 15 minutes of the Lasagna Cat special movie. But I think that this type of parody is kind of just the natural course that any vapid, stupid, boring character is going to get. Especially now that memes are getting so fast. If there's a stupid character, they will be given a dark, serious meme. The meme itself. I think that Garfield functions as a symbol of accelerating capitalism, a concept espoused by Nick Land, where he essentially says that in the past there had always been a drive that was moving humanity ahead. But only recently, only through the expressions of technology and through the vast advances of consumerism, were we getting to a point where reality itself was accelerating very fast, affecting itself from the future in that rhizomatic sense, beyond time and space, without center, without bottom and top. And of course, we can see that just in the imagery of the monstrous Garfield. He is rhizomatic. But just as with capitalism, we can't really see into its true face, usually. They hide behind logos, behind characters, and Garfield is an avatar in that way. And behind him, just beneath the surface, behind that thin veneer of fur and an amusing face, there is an ungodly beast, ever expanding, all powerful. And it speaks through this form. And who is the slave? Who is the servant? John Arbuckle. He lives at the behest of this godlike force, this demoniac force, which determines everything in his life. when we buy things, when we buy little tools and phones and so on, they are shown as kind of, oh, if you buy this, it'll make your life easier. It will help you live to the fullest and so on. This is the way that John Arbuckle is with his cat, with his pet. Have fun with the pet, enjoy the company of a pet, and so on. But in this meme, we see the reality of consumerism, the reality of the Oedipal dynamic with a pet, which is that which we own, in the end, owns us. So Garfield and capitalism itself ultimately are controlling the consumer. No matter how much the consumer believes that they could enjoy or could improve their life through the purchase is in control. The product is in control. So what is it that this horrible, perverted, disgusting Garfield wants? He wants to consume. He consumes and consumes and consumes. He eats lasagna, but also his hunger is beyond lasagna. He eats everything. But also, we do get a very clear look at how Garfield is the symbol of enjoyable capitalism, enjoyable consumerism. He hates Mondays. He wants just pleasure. He wants to be rid of these kind of displeasant shackles unless he is the one who puts them on. Garfield, enjoyment, that is what is in control of suffering. Not these responsibilities, not these kind of orderly way. Enjoyment and the future of capitalism is chaos. Vast, ever-expanding, ever-repeating chaos. So, just to expand even a bit more on the connection with capitalism, we have oftentimes John Arbuckle attempting to escape. He will kill himself or will try to leave the house and so on. But in those moments, we find that Garfield is already in control. He controls reality itself. He's a reality warper. He's completely in control of John's life. And I think that this shows the truth in a quote that I believe is attributed to Zizek. I could be wrong. I've heard that it's misattributed, but either way, it's a great quote, which is that we can believe that the world will end before we believe capitalism will end. Garfield is that undying capitalism, the zombie capital that goes on beyond the death of humanity. As Land says, nothing human makes it out of the near future. What will live on? Garfield. Cartoon characters, logos. These are going to ultimately be more human than human. Reality has been given unto fiction. Memes have taken on the role of life, unlife, in that way. Implications. I find that this meme is very popular among the young left wing. And I don't think that they are conscious of why they like it. I think a lot of people are not conscious of why they like memes in general. But I think that this one is very easy to take apart. And in a way, this is the way out of the common knowledge that the left can't meme. They can meme only when it's unconscious, just like the right does. This is the product of the unconscious knowledge of capitalism. And the reason that it's so popular, I think, is because anybody who can feel the struggle of this kind of disgusting, meaningless void of consumerism, they relate to John Arbuckle. They relate to John just like all encompassed, controlled, always watched, always threatened, always being forced to enjoy by this ever-present monstrous Garfield, this consumerist capitalism that infects every part of the young person's life. It's understandable why John is always fearful, always depressed, always looking for a way out, looking for another way. But it seems as if every time he tries to get out, he is thwarted by Garfield. Thwarted again and again and again. I think another aspect of this meme is that we see a little bit of the movie They Live. We see that it is not really a bunch of people who are evil. That there are kind of a few representatives of absolute evil on Earth. Garfield is among a whole lot of other good characters, like even Nurgle, Odie, John, Liz. They're all being tortured by Garfield. In a way, this is the very opposite of the NPC or Clown World meme, in which it is the masses, it is the people that take on the role of evil, stupid, or bad. So I think we get a really kind of immediate left and right split between Garfield, which is like the few billionaires who adamantly choose to wrong the masses, and the stupid masses who are responsible for their own suffering in the NPC Clown World meme. I thought I would end it with something fun, with a little tangent about my girlfriend. Now, this was a few years ago, back when Minions were extremely popular. They're still extremely popular, unfortunately, but they were kind of at a height now, and we just were so tired of seeing them. We can't stand it. Those little tendrils of Garfield, little tendrils of capitalism expressing itself through cartoons. It's horrible, annoying, bothersome, and so on. I don't mean to offend anybody who likes Minions, but then I hope that you're not on the channel if you do. You can... I'm just kidding. We like too. So what she did, she went through a bunch of old websites and eventually found the creator of the Minions, Pierre Coffin. She found his email. One of his old emails. Not from the current Illumination Studios, not from Universal or wherever it is, but his old emails. And she emailed him, and she sent kind of this humorous little write-up on how she wondered if he felt like Oppenheimer after creating the nuclear bomb, for just how much suffering and madness he had caused directly. Just how Minions were the worst kind of plague that affected us all. And believe it or not, he responded. He said, "You are right, and I'm going to do what you suggest with my yellow suppositories." And I think maybe only like a month later, in a French interview, he said, "I think it might have been a mistake to create the Minions." So when we look in a way into the heart of darkness, we see the Kurtz. We see the man at the center of it all, the monster, slightly human, who has caused all of this suffering, all of these emanating waves of consumerism. I think they regret it in the end. I think that some of them do. I'm sure that there are some people who live to produce more cute characters, who live to produce the next cute toy, the next cute thing. And they are like the thousands of alien eggs that you see at the end of a horror movie after they've killed one. It'll go on and on and on and on. And that is the essence of Garfield. Even if Garfield the cat were to shed his skin, the Lovecraftian, rhizomatic beast, the essence of capitalism, of consumerism, would remain potent. It would find another host, and it will continue to affect us, to torture us. And how do we respond? With memes. Remember, memes matter.